This is an audiobook experience. The book is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn, narrated by G, with voices featuring DQ, Jackson D5E, and many more. I hope you all enjoy. Prologue. The police officer's body goes blurry, then sharpens again. I don't stare at him directly. I can't really focus on one thing in this room, but when I do look, his face shimmers. His badge, the rectangular nameplate, his tie clip, all the little metal details on his chest ripple and shine like loose silver change at the bottom of a fountain. And nothing about him appears solid. Nothing about him feels real. I don't think about that, though. I can't. Besides, everything looks otherworldly when you've been crying for 3 hours straight. The police officer and nurse brought me and my father into a tiny mint green room. Now they sit on the other side of the table. They say they are explaining the situation to us. These people don't feel real, but neither does the situation they keep explaining. I don't cry for my mother's death, or for myself. I cry because these strangers in the hospital, the nurse, the doctor, the police officer, they don't know my mother, and yet they were the closest to her when she died. And when your people die, you have to listen to strangers speak your nightmare into existence.
We found her on Route 70 around 8.
The police officer says. The air conditioner kicks on. The sharp scents of hospital-grade hand soap and floor cleaner blow across our faces. I listen to these people I don't know use the past tense about my mother, the person who brought me into this world and created my present. They're past tensing my heart. My whole beating, bleeding, torn heart right in front of me. It is a violation. These uniformed officers carve me open with their words, but they're just doing their jobs. I can't scream at people who are just doing their jobs, can I? I want to. My father sits in a vinyl padded chair. It creaks when he leans forward to read paragraphs of fine print on pieces of paper. Where did this paperwork come from? Who has paperwork on hand for my mother's death? Why are they ready when I am not ready? My father asks questions, signs his name, blinks, breathes, nods. I wonder how he is functioning. My mother's life has stopped. Shouldn't everything and everyone stop living too? She was crushed inside her family sedan, body half crumpled under the dashboard after a hit and run. She was alone until some nice, probably frightened Good Samaritan saw her overturned car on the side of the road. Blood-red twine connects the final words I said to my mother last night in anger to another night in February. A night when my best friend Alice and I, sitting together in the basement of her parents' split-level home, decided UNC's Chapel Hill's early college program was our dream. Bright high school students can earn college credit at Carolina over the course of 2 years, experience life in the dorms, and become independent. At least that's what the brochure said. For Alice and me, early college was 2 minority girls' tickets out of a small town in rural North Carolina. For us, early college meant bigger ideas and classrooms and adventure. We'd filled out our applications together, marched right into the Bentonville post office after school together, dropped the envelopes in the chute together. If we could get into EC, we could leave Bentonville High and move to a university dorm 4 hours away from home and away from parents who held us so tight that sometimes we couldn't breathe. A decade before I was born, my mother was an undergraduate at Carolina, a burgeoning scientist. I heard the stories for years, seen the framed photos of elaborate chemistry experiments, beakers and glass pipettes, protective goggles resting across her high cheekbones. It was her fault, really, for planting the idea in my mind. That's what I told myself, anyways. Our letters came yesterday. Alice's parents knew she was applying. They beamed like they were the ones who'd been accepted. I knew it wouldn't go that way for me. I'd applied behind my mother's back, certain that once I got in, once I had that letter, she'd let go of her need to keep me close. I'd handed her the letter on blue and white Carolina stationery, grinned like it was a trophy. I'd never seen her so angry. My brain doesn't accept where my body is sitting. It catalogs the last 36 hours in an attempt to find the how of this hospital room. Last night she'd roared about trust and safety and not rushing to grow up. I'd screamed about unfairness, about what I'd earned, about how I needed to get away from dirt roads. This morning, I was still fuming when I woke up. In bed, I made a silent declaration to not speak to her all day, and that declaration had felt good. Today, a nothing normal Tuesday, except that for me, it carried the stubborn undercurrent of we'll talk later. Tonight, she drove away from work at the end of the day. Then, a car. Now, this pale green room and a disinfectant smell that burns when I inhale. Forever, we'll talk later is not the same as we'll never talk again. Twine from February closes tight around me, like I will never take another breath. But somehow the police officer is still talking, shimmering and shining. The air around him looks alive, like he's drenched in magic. But when your entire world is shattering, a little bit of magic is nothing. Three months later, Part 1, Order, Chapter 1. A Carolina first year sprints through the darkness and launches himself off the cliff into the moonlit night. His shouts send sleepy birds flying overhead. The sound echoes against the rock face that borders the inner quarry. Flashlights track his flailing body, all windmilling arms and kicking legs until he hits the water with a crackling splash. At the cliffline above, 30 college students cheer and whoop, their joy weaving through the pine trees. Like a constellation in motion, cone-shaped beams of light roam the lake's surface. Collective breath held. All eyes searching, waiting. Then, the boy erupts from the water with a roar, and the crowd explodes. Cliff jumping is the perfect formula for Southern white boy fun. Rural recklessness, a pocket's flashlight worth of precaution, and a dare. I can't look away. Each run draws my own feet an inch closer to the edge. Each leap into nothingness, each hovering moment before the fall calls to a spark of wild yearning inside my chest. I press that yearning down, seal it closed, board it up.
Lucky he didn't break his damn legs,
Alice mutters in her soft twang. She scoffs, peering over the edge to watch the grinning jumper grasp protruding rocks and exposed vines to climb the rock face. Her straight, coal-black hair lies plastered to her temple. The warm, sticky palm of late August humidity presses down on our skin. My curls are already up in a puff, as far away from the back of my neck as possible, so I hand her the extra elastic band from my wrist. She takes it, wordlessly, and gathers her hair in a ponytail.
I read about this quarry on the way here. Every few years, kids get hurt, fall on the rocks, drown. We're sure as hell not jumping, and it's getting late. We should go.
Why? 'Cause you're getting bit? I swat at a tiny flickering buzz near her arm. She fixes me with a glare.
I'm insulted by your weak conversational deflection. That's not best friend behavior. You're fired.
Alice wants to major in sociology, then maybe go into law. She's been interrogating me since we were 10. I roll my eyes. You've best friend fired me 50 times since we were kids, and yet you keep rehiring me. This job sucks. HR is a nightmare.
And yet, you keep coming back. Evidence, if circumstantial, that you enjoy the work.
I shrug. Pay is good.
You know why I don't like this.
I do. It's not like I'd planned to break the law our first night on campus, but after dinner an opportunity had presented itself in the shape of Charlotte Simpson, a girl we knew from Fentonville High. Charlotte popped her head into our dorm before we'd even finished unpacking and demanded we join her for a night out. After 2 years of EC, Charlotte had officially enrolled as a Carolina undergraduate this year, and apparently she turned party girl somewhere in the interim. During the day, the Eno River State Park is open for hiking, camping, and kayaking, but if you sneak in after the gates close, like all of the kids here have, it's definitely trespassing. Not something I normally go for, but Charlotte explained that the night before the first day of classes is special. It's tradition for some juniors and seniors to host a party at the quarry. Also, tradition? First-year students jumping off the edge of cliffs into the mineral-rich lake at its center. The park straddles Orange and Durham counties and sits north of I-85, about 25 minutes away from Carolina's campus. Charlotte drove us here in her old silver Jeep, and the entire ride over, I felt Alice beside me in the back seat, shrinking against the illegality of it all. The jumper's unfettered laughter crests the cliff before his head does. I can't remember the last time my laugh sounded like that. You don't like this because it's... I drop my voice into a dramatic whisper. Against the rules? Alice's dark eyes burn behind her glasses.
Getting caught off campus is an automatic expulsion from EC.
Well, hold up, Hermione. Charlotte said a bunch of students do it every year. Another jumper sprints through the woods. A deeper splash. Cheers. Alice juts her chin toward the other students.
That's them. Tell me why you want to be here.
Because I can't just sit in our room right now. Because ever since my mother died, there's a version of me inside that wants to break things and scream. I lift a shoulder. Because what better way to begin our adventure than with a pinch of rebellion? She does not look amused.
Did someone say rebellion?
Charlotte's boots crunch through the leaves and pine needles. The sharp sound stands out from the droning backgrounds of crickets and the low bass thump pulsing our way from the party speakers. She comes to a stop next to me and brushes her auburn ponytail away from her shoulder.
Y'all jumpin'? It is tradition.
She smirks.
And it's fun.
No.
Damn near leaps out of Alice's mouth. Something must have shown on my face because Charlotte grins, and Alice says,
Bree?
"Aren't you pre-med or something, Charlotte?" I ask. "How are you this smart and this bad of an influence?"
It's college.
Charlotte says with a shrug.
Smart, but a bad influence describes like half the student body.
Char!
A male voice calls out from behind a raggedy holly. Charlotte's face breaks into a wide smile before she even turns around to see the tall red-haired boy walking toward us. He holds a red Solo cup in one hand and a flashlight in the other.
Hey, babe.
Charlotte purrs and greets him with a giggling kiss. "Char?" I mouth to a grimacing Alice. When they separate, Charlotte waves us over.
Babe, these are the new EC kids from back home, Bree and Alice.
She curls around the boy's arm like a koala.
This is my boyfriend, y'all, Evan Cooper.
Evan's perusal takes long enough that I wonder what he's thinking about us. Alice is a Taiwanese American, short and wiry, with observant eyes and a semi-permanent smirk. Her whole MO is dressing to make a good impression, just in case. And tonight, she chose dark jeans and a polka-dotted blouse with a Peter Pan collar. Under Evan's scrutiny, she pushes her round glasses up her nose and gives a shy wave. I'm 5'8", tall enough that I might pass for a college student. And black, blessed with my mother's cheekbones, curves, and my father's full mouth. I'd pulled on an old jeans and a tee. Shy isn't really my thing. Evan's eyes widen when they take me in.
You're the girl whose mom died, right? Bree Matthews.
A trickle of pain inside, and my wall snaps into place. Death creates an alternate universe, but after 3 months, I have the tools to live in it. Charlotte jabs Evan in the ribs with her elbow, sending him daggers with her eyes.
What?
He puts his hands up.
That's what you said?
Sorry.
She cuts him off, her gaze apologetic. My wall works 2 ways. It hides the things I need to hide, and helps me show the things I need to show. Particularly useful for the sorry for your loss crowd. In my mind's eye, the wall's reinforced now. Stronger than wood, iron, steel. It has to be, because I know what comes next. Charlotte and Evan will unleash the predictable stream of words everyone says when they realize they're talking to the girl whose mom died. It's like comforting grieving people bingo, except when all the squares get covered, everyone loses. Charlotte perks up. Here we go.
How are you holding up? Is there anything I can do for you?
Double whammy. The real answers to those questions? The really real answers? Not well, and no. Instead, I say, I'm fine. No one wants to hear the real answers. What the sorry for your lost crowd wants is to feel good about asking the questions. This game is awful,
I can't imagine.
Charlotte murmurs. And that's another square covered on the bingo board. They can imagine it. They just wouldn't want to. Some truths only tragedy can teach. The first one I learned is that when people acknowledge your pain, they want your pain to acknowledge them back. They need to witness it in real time, or else you're not doing your part. Charlotte's hungry blue eyes search for my tears, my quivering lip. But my wall is up, so she won't get either. Evan's eager gaze hunts for my grief and suffering, but when I jut my chin out in defiance, he averts his eyes. Good.
Sorry for your loss.
And with those words I most despise, Evan hits bingo. People lose things when they have a mental lapse. Then they find that thing again from the lost place. But my mother isn't lost. She's gone. Before Bree is gone too, even though I pretend she's not. After Bree came into being the day after my mom died. I went to sleep that night, and when I woke up, she was there. After Bree was there during the funeral. After Bree was there when our neighbors knocked on our door to offer sorrow and broccoli casserole. After Bree was with me when the visiting mourners finally went home, even though I can only recall hazy snippets from the hospital. Trauma-related memory loss, according to my father's weird, preachy grief book. I have After Bree. She's the unwanted souvenir that death gave me. In my mind's eye, After Bree looks almost like me. Tall, athletic, warm brown skin, broader than I want shoulders, but where my dark, tight curls are usually pulled up on the top of my head. After Bree's stretch, wide and loose like a live oak tree. Where my eyes are brown, hers are the dark ochre crimson and obsidian of molten iron in a furnace. Because After Bree is in a constant state of near explosion. The worst is at night, when she presses against my skin from the inside, and the pain is unbearable. We whisper together, "I'm sorry, Mom. This is all my fault." She lives and breathes inside my chest, one heartbeat behind my own life, and breath like an angry echo. Containing her is a full-time job. Alice doesn't know about After Bree. Nobody does. Not even my dad. Especially not my dad. Alice clears her throat, the sound breaking like a wave against my thoughts. How long did I zone out? A minute? 2? I focus on the three of them, face blank, wall up. Evan gets antsy in the silence and blurts out,
By the way, your hair is totally badass.
I know, without looking, that the curls springing out of my puff are wide and awake, reaching toward the sky in the night's humidity. I bristle, because his tone is one that feels less like a compliment, more like he's happened upon a fun oddity, and that fun oddity is black me with my black hair. Wonderful. Alice shoots me a sympathetic glance that Evan misses entirely because, of course he does.
I think we're done here. Can we go?
Charlotte pouts.
Half an hour more, I promise. I want to check out the party.
Yeah, yo, come watch me shotgun a PBR.
Evan slings an arm around his girlfriend's shoulders and leads her away before we can protest. Alice grumbles under her breath and takes off after them, stepping high over the rangy weeds of the tree line. Fall pansium and marsdale, mostly. My mother had called this stuff witchgrass and horseweed fleabane, back when she was alive to call out plants to me. Alice is almost to the trees before she realizes I'm not following.
You coming?
I'll be there in a sec. I want to watch some more jumps. I jerk a thumb over my shoulder. She stomps back.
I'll wait with you.
No, that's okay. You go ahead. She scrutinizes me, torn between taking me at my word or pushing further.
Watch. Not jump.
Watch, not jump.
Maddie.
Her childhood nickname for me. Maddie, short for my last name. Twists at something deep in my chest. Old memories have been doing that lately, even the ones that aren't about her. And I sort of hate it. My vision goes fuzzy with the threat of tears, and I have to blink Alice's features into focus. Pale face, glasses perpetually sliding to the tip of her nose.
I know this isn't how we thought it would be. Being at Carolina, I mean. But I think your mom would have come around to it. Eventually.
I cast my gaze out as far as the moonlight allows. Across the lake, treetops are shadowed fringe between the quarry and the murky sky. We'll never know.
But
Always a but. Something hard slips into her voice.
but if she were here, I don't think she'd want you to
To what?
become some other person.
I kick at a pebble. I need to be alone for a minute. Enjoy the party, I'll be there soon. She eyes me, as if gauging my mood.
I hate tiny parties. They force one into constant exertion.
I squint, searching my memory for the familiar words. Did you just Jane Austen me? Her dark eyes twinkle.
Who's the literary nerd? The quoter, or the one who recognizes the quote?
Wait! I shake my head in amusement. Did you just Star Wars me? She grins.
Nah. I knew hoped you.
Alice's eyes still hold a pinch of worry, but she squeezes my hand before walking away. Once I can no longer hear the rustle of her shoes in the underbrush, I release a breath, take out my phone.
Hey kiddo, you and Alice get settled in, okay?
The second text had arrived 15 minutes later.
I know you're our brave Bree who was ready to escape Bentonville, but don't forget us little people back home. Make your mom proud. Call when you can. Love, Dad.
I shove my phone back into my pocket. I had been ready to escape Bentonville, but not because I was brave. At first, I wanted to stay home. It seemed right after everything. But months of living under the same roof alone with my dad made my shame intolerable. Our grief is for the same person, but our grief is not the same. It's like those bar magnets in physics class. You can push the matching poles together, but they don't want to touch. I can't touch my dad's grief. Don't really want to. In the end, I left Bentonville because I was too scared to stay. I pace along the cliff, away from the crowd, and keep the quarry to my left. The scents of damp soil and pine rise up with every footstep. If I breathe in deeply enough, the mineral smell of groundstone catches at the back of my throat. A foot over, the earth falls away below my feet, and the lake stretches out wide, reflecting the sky and the stars and the possibilities of night. From here, I can see what the jumpers were working with. Whatever cleaved the dirt and rocks to form the quarry had dug at a 30-degree angle. To clear that face entirely, one has to run fast and leap far. No hesitation allowed. I imagine myself running like the moon is my finish line. Running like I can leave the anger and shame and gossip behind. I can almost feel the delicious burn in my muscles, the rush sweet and strong in my veins as I sail over the cliff and into emptiness. Without warning, the roiling spark of afterbreeze stretches up from my gut like a vine on fire. But this time, I don't shove her away. She unfurls behind my ribs, and the hot pressure of her is so powerful it feels like I could explode. Part of me wants to explode.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
A wry voice from behind startles me, and sends a few birds hidden in the canopy above squawking into the sky. I hadn't heard anyone approach through the underbrush, but a tall, dark-haired boy leans casually against a tree as if he'd been there the whole time, arms over his chest and black combat boots crossed at the ankles. The boy's expression is lazy with disdain, like he can't even be bothered to muster up a full dose of the stuff.
Forgive me for interrupting. It looked like you were about to jump off a cliff, alone, in the dark.
He drawls. He is unsettlingly beautiful. His face is aristocratic and sharp, framed by high, pale cheekbones. The rest of his body is born from shadows: black jacket, black pants, and ink-black hair that falls over his forehead, and curls just below gauged ears bearing small black rubber plugs. He can't be more than 18, but something about his features doesn't belong to a teenager. The cut of his jaw, the line of his nose, his stillness. The boy, who is both young and old, lets me study him, but only for a moment. Then he levels his tawny gaze in challenge. And when our eyes meet, a stinging shock races through me, head to heels, leaving fear in its wake. I swallow. Look away. I can make that jump. He snorts.
Cliff jumping is asinine.
No one asked you. I have a stubborn streak aggravated by other stubborn people, and this boy clearly qualifies. I step to his right. Quick as a cat, he reaches for me, but I twist away before he gets a grip. His eyebrows lift, and the corner of his mouth twitches.
I haven't seen you around before. Are you new?
I'm leaving. I turn, but the boy's beside me in 2 steps.
Do you know who I am?
No.
I'm Selwyn Kane.
His gaze sends tiny, invisible sparks of electricity dancing across my cheek. I flinch and throw my hand up between us like a shield. Fingers too hot, too strong, instantly close around my wrist. A tingling sensation shoots down to my elbow.
Why did you cover your face?
I don't have an answer for him. Or myself. I try to yank myself away from him, but his hold is like iron. Let go. Selwyn's eyes widen, then narrow. He is not used to being shouted at.
Do you feel something when I look at you?
What? I pull, but he holds me tightly without effort. No.
Don't lie.
I'm not.
Quiet.
He orders. Bright indignation flares in my chest, but his unusual eyes rake across my face. Snuff it right out.
Strange. I thought.
Suddenly, shouts break the night, but this time they're not from the cliff jumpers. We both twist toward the forest and beyond it, to the party in the clearing. More yelling. And not the happy drunk kind. A low growl close by my ear. I jump when I realize the sound is coming from the demanding boy whose fingers are still locked around my wrist. As he stares into the trees, his mouth curves into a satisfied smile, exposing 2 canines that nearly touch his bottom lip.
Got you.
Got who? I demand. Selwyn startles, as if he'd completely forgotten I was there, then releases me with a frustrated grunt. He takes off, speeding into the woods, a silent shadow between the trees. He's out of sight before I can form a response. A jarring scream echoes from the party on my left. Raised voices ring out from the cliff jumpers on my right, who are now sprinting for the clearing, too. Blood freezes in my veins. Alice! Heart pounding in my chest, I race to the trailhead to follow Selwyn, but once I'm under tree cover, the ground is barely visible in the darkness. 3 steps in, I trip and fall hard into bramble. Branches scrape my palms and arms, and I take 2 shaky breaths. Let my eyes adjust. Stand. Listen for the sounds of yelling undergraduates. Then, adrenaline shooting through my veins, I jog half a mile in the right direction with quick, careful steps, wondering how the hell someone could move so fast throughout the woods without a flashlight. By the time I stumble into the clearing, the party's chaos. Undergrads push against one another to run down the long, narrow path toward the cars parked at the gravel lot. Beyond the trees, car engines go out of life in a rolling wave. 2 guys struggle to lift the kegs and push them onto truck beds, while a small crowd beside them tries to help lighten the barrels by drinking straight from the hose. Beside the fire, a circle of 20 kids cheer while holding solo cups and cell phones high in the air. Whoever they're looking at won't be Alice. She'd try to find me, like I'm trying to find her. I reach for my phone. If there are no missed calls or texts, she's gotta be freaking out. Alice? I scan the crowd for her, for Charlotte's ponytail and t-shirt, for Evan's red hair, but they aren't there. A half-naked, dripping wet undergrad girl shoves past me. Alice Chan! Campfire smoke billows thick in the air. I could barely see anything. I push through sweating, churning bodies, calling Alice's name. A tall blonde girl scowls when I shout too close to her face, and I scowl back. She's beautiful. The way a well-maintained dagger is beautiful, sharp and shiny at all angles. A bit prissy? Absolutely, Alice's type. Damn it, where is she?
Everybody out, before somebody calls the cops.
The girl yells. Cops? I glance up right as the solo cup carrying circle parts. It only takes a second to see the reason of the screams from earlier and the reason why someone might call the cops. A fight. A bad one. 4 drunken, enormous boys are rolling and swinging in a pile on the ground. Probably football players right out of preseason and fueled by adrenaline, beer, and, well, who knows what else. One of the giants has another shirt in his hand, the fabric pulled so taut I can hear the seam rip. The third is on his feet, rearing back for a kick to the 4th boy's stomach. It's like watching gladiators brawl, except instead of armor, they're covered in layers of muscle and have necks as thick as my thigh. And instead of weapons, they're swinging fists the size of award-winning grapefruits. The hurricane cloud of dirt they've created has put so much smoke and dust in the air that I almost missed the flicker of light and movement above their heads. What the... There it is again. In the air, above the boys, something is shimmering and dancing. A greenish silver something that swoops and dives and flickers in and out of transparency like a glitching hologram. The image pulls at a string of memory. The shimmer of light, the very feeling of it, punches the breath right out of my lungs. I've seen this before, but I can't remember where. I turn, gasping to the student beside me, a wide-eyed boy in a Tar Heels t-shirt. Do you see that?
You mean the jackass is fighting over nothing?
He taps his phone.
Yeah, why do you think I'm filming?
No. The light? I point at the flickering. There! The boy searches in the air, and his expression turns wry.
Been smoking something?
The blonde girl pushes through the circle of spectators, standing between the fighters and the crowd with their hands on her hips. The boy beside me waves her away. Tor rolls her eyes.
You need to leave, Dustin.
Her vicious glare sends most of the gawkers running. Something is still there, beyond the blonde girl's head. Heart hammering, I take in the scene again. No one else has noticed the silvery mass hovering and flapping above the boy's head. Either that, or no one else can see it. Cold dread creeps into my stomach. Grief does strange things to people's minds. This I know. One morning, a couple of weeks after my mother died, my dad said he thought he could smell her cheesy grits cooking on the stove. My favorite, and my mother's specialty. Once, I heard her humming down the hall from my bedroom, something so mundane and simple, so regular and small, that for a moment the prior weeks were just a nightmare. And I was awake. And she was alive. Death moves faster than brains do. I exhale through the memories, shut my eyes tight, open them again. No one else can see this, I think, scanning the group a final time. No one. Except the figure on the other side of the fire, tucked between the trunks of 2 oaks. Selwyn Kane. He glares upward, his expression calculating, irritated. His sharp eyes watch the there, not there shape too. Long fingers twitch at his sides, silver rings flashing in the shadows. Without warning, through wisps of smoke rising in eddies and waves over the campfires, Selwyn's eyes find mine. He sighs. Actually sighs. As if now that the hologram creature is here, I bore him. Insult spikes through my fear. Still holding my gaze, he makes a quick, jerking motion with his chin, and a vicious snap of invisible electricity wraps around my body like a rope and yanks me backwards, away from the boy and the something. It pulls me so hard, so fast that I nearly fall. His mouth moves, but I can't hear him. I resist, but the rope sensation responds. Tight pain in my body blossoming into a single utterance. Leave. The word materializes in my brain like an idea of my own that I'd simply forgotten. The command brands itself between my eyes and echoes like a bell rung deep inside my chest until it's all I can hear. It floods my mouth and nose with dizzying scents. A bit of smoke, followed by cinnamon. The need to go saturates my world until I'm so heavy with it that my eyelids drop. When I open my eyes again, I've already turned to face the direction of the parking lot. In my next breath, I'm walking away.